All right, did I take the screen over? Oh, you can't talk.
Hey everyone, and welcome again to another Thermapen ONE live cooking class. I'm Tim Robinson, Vice President of Marketing here in the ThermoWorks Demo Kitchen, and we are super excited to bring you another Thermapen ONE live cooking class. Feels like a climax. We've got Susie Bulloch of HeyGrillHey.com, who's going to be making something spectacular for you. Before we get to that, I want to say a little word about our sponsor. We've got a black one here, and in honor of Susie, the Thermapen ONE. We've had a lot of questions about how to properly validate the speed and accuracy of your Thermapen ONE. And the one thing you do not want to do is to try and test it in food, right? Where the temperature is changing constantly and you don't know what the temperature is until you test it. There are a couple of preferred ways to test the speed and accuracy of any thermal instrument. The first is to use a reference thermometer. So I have here in my other hand, this is the reference Thermapen. It's got an extra resolution, goes to hundredths there. And we sell this for about $199. It is not fast. It is quite slow, but it is accurate to 0.1 degrees Fahrenheit. And it comes with its calibration certificate. And so I'm putting this in this water. This is just water from the tap. And I'm checking the temperature of that water. And I'm seeing that the temperature is around 89 degrees, 89.23 degrees. I'm stirring to make sure that there are no gradients in that water. And then I'm going to take my Thermapen ONE and I'm going to stick that in the same water and I'm going to see that it gets to 89 degrees that fast, right? So that's one way of testing and validating the speed and the accuracy of your Thermapen ONE. Another way, if you don't have a reference thermometer, is to use a properly made ice bath. You don't need a fancy mug like this, but you do need an ice level that's quite high. You need small radius ice, like this pebble ice or some crushed ice. And then you add just enough water to come below the level of the ice. You don't want the water to go up above the ice and to make the ice float, right? So I've got pretty good water next to the ice there. And then the next very important thing is to stir, right? So I take this and I stick it in the ice bath and I stir. And I get to 33 degrees that fast. Now, 32. The spec is to get to within 1 degree Fahrenheit within 1 second or less. So that got to 33 that fast. This is within spec. So that's a great way to test as well. With that, you've got some new information, but now you're going to get a new recipe. Bacon wrapped cheddar jalapeno meatballs. That's so Susie, right? Just all the good flavors into something practical like meatballs that can feed your family. Perfect recipe for a Thermapen ONE. You got to test all those meatballs on the grill. Super excited to give you over to Susie. Susie's been a friend of ThermoWorks forever. And we've watched her grow. We've watched her career explode. She and her husband, Todd, they are the best people and they work hard and they deserve all the success that they've gotten. They're now on all the TV shows. And it's also an inspiration for people who are affiliates, right? That they can have that same success by putting in that kind of effort and using quality tools. But Susie has a new app. If you go to HeyGrillHey.com, you'll see all of her recipes and all of her rubs and sauces that are amazing. She's got a new app you can download to your phone with all of her recipes in there. You can create checklists of things to shop for and meal plans and all kinds of amazing things. And so you got to check out HeyGrillHey.com, got to check out her app. And with that, it's a pleasure for me to introduce Susie Bulloch. Take it away, Susie.
Hey guys, Tim, thank you so much for the intro. You're right. We have been Thermapen kind of junkies, I feel like, for over 5 years. And I feel like that's how long we've known each other. And so it's really fun to be able to hang out with the ThermoWorks community tonight and cook some really, really delicious food. Like Tim mentioned, I like all of the good things. And these meatballs have all of the good things. We're talking about cheddar cheese, jalapenos, bacon, and we're even going to be using some of our fun seasonings and sauces tonight. But if you're cooking along with us or if you're following the recipe at home, I always like to encourage people to use what you've got, use what you love. And these meatballs make a great base to kind of mix in different flavors. If you're not maybe a jalapeno cheddar fan, maybe you can mix in other things that your family does love. On that note, let's make some meatballs. And of course, if you guys have any questions for me during the cooking process, we will be stopping occasionally to answer your questions. And I would love for this to be interactive because honestly, you guys are in my backyard right now. And anytime anybody's in my backyard and we're hanging out by the grill, there's always questions. What smoker are you using? What pellets are you using? What temperature are you running at? What other cookers do you have? Those are all questions that I love answering with people at my table. And tonight, you guys are at my table in my backyard, and I would love to share that experience with you. And thank you again for being here. This is really fun. Okay, to the meatballs. These are pretty simple meatballs. I have everything already chopped and diced, so it makes assembly really quick and really easy. If you're making these at home, I would say prep time takes about 15 to 20 minutes by the time you get everything diced and grated and mixed and rolled into balls. And if you're serving these as a main dish, I usually make 16 balls, so that's 4 per person. This will serve 4 people. If you're doing it as an appetizer, you could certainly serve like 10 to 12 with this recipe. What else? Oh, cook time. You might need to know cook time. That's an important thing. These typically take 45 minutes for the initial smoking process, and then an additional 5 to 10 as we're going to baste it with some barbecue sauce at the end and let the sauce tighten up. So under an hour for cook time. I think these are a really great weeknight dinner option or a super easy party option. And we are heading into tailgate season. It's like hot and heavy tailgate season right now. So this is something that you can easily whip up at a tailgate party. You can pre-make the meatballs in advance, and then all you have to do is take them and cook them and sauce them, and they're delicious. I think I covered all of the awesomes. So let's make some meatballs. I have 1 pound of ground beef. This is 85-15. This is ground chuck. I really like the flavor of chuck roast. And 85-15 gives you a great meat to fat ratio, so you'll have nice and juicy meatballs. I don't recommend making meatballs with a leaner meat like a 93.7, although if you're really trying to cut down on that fat a little bit, and you want to use something like turkey or chicken, it's doable. I would just recommend adding an extra egg when we're talking about the eggs later. So, pound of ground beef. I've got 8 ounces of shredded cheese. This is a sharp cheddar cheese. I like the sharp because it's a little bit punchy and it really stands out in the meatball. And it looks like a lot when it goes in, but it kind of compresses when we mix them all up. You could also use a medium cheddar or a mild cheddar if you don't like a super punchy cheese flavor. Also going to add in 3/4 of a cup of panko breadcrumbs. I prefer panko to regular breadcrumbs because they're kind of crunchier and I think they hold moisture a little bit better. And I like the texture of that inside of the meatball. 2 eggs, just lightly break those yolks and mix them up so that you don't end up with chunks of yolk and chunks of white in your meatballs. Those go right in. We're also going to add 3 cloves of minced garlic. And then my favorite part are the jalapenos. So these are 2 jalapenos. These have had the seeds and the ribs removed, and they've been diced pretty fine. Now, these are raw, so they're going to have some texture, some crunch when the meatballs are finished cooking. They're not going to be very soft. If you're somebody that likes a super soft jalapeno, I would saute these for 1 to 2 minutes in a hot pan before you add them to your meatball mixture. Then you'll have really soft jalapenos. I like the texture. I like it to have a little bit of a bite. I want you to know that there's jalapenos in your meatballs. Now, because the seeds have been removed, because the ribs have been removed, these are going to give you that jalapeno flavor, but they're really not going to give you any jalapeno heat. If you want something a little bit spicy, you can swap the jalapenos for a spicier pepper, if that's something that you like. Okay, we're going to give this a quick mix, and then I actually have some meatballs on the smoker right now. We'll check the temperature of those to see if we're ready for the next step. Okay, mixing. We want to mix lightly, but we want to make sure everything's incorporated. Like I said, it's going to feel like a lot of cheese right out the gate, but you just keep folding it in. Fold the cheese, just fold it with your hands until it's incorporated in the meat. And like I said, this typically makes 16 meatballs. They're usually about 1.5 inches in diameter. And if you're really specific, you could probably weigh them out to make sure that they're all the same size. I'm somebody, oh my gosh, I just realized I forgot something important. I knew I was going to forget something. Here we go. Do you see this? This is my beef seasoning. You don't want to forget that because you need that salt and pepper flavor inside of your meatballs. So I usually add about a teaspoon per pound of meatballs. If you don't have my beef seasoning on hand, you can mix equal parts salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. And then mix that in as well. Well incorporated, well seasoned meatballs. All right, like I said, I'm gonna have to get another glove. Fine. Ooh, yeah, we'll put the glove on. I'm just realizing that my phone locked and we were gonna do questions. So, okay, I haven't seen any come in the chat yet, but like I said, if you guys have questions, pop them in the chat. Here, cameraman's gonna lend me a hand. If you guys have watched any of our videos, you know Todd. He comes in at the end of our videos and he's the official taste tester for Hey Girl Hey. Right now, he's also the official backup glove putter honor for Hey Girl Hey. The magic hands behind the camera. Thank you, Todd. The people are applauding right now. I can hear them. All right. To make my meatballs, like I said, I'm an eyeball meatball maker. I like to just get a bunch and I want it to fit in the palm of my hand. From there, I kind of do a little bit of a circle sign just with my hands. And then on a flat palm, I roll, 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 roll. And that makes a pretty even meatball just for eyeballing it. From there, we give each cute meatball a half a slice of bacon. Now, I have heard some people say that they have made these without the bacon and they turn out great. And I am sure that they would, but when given the choice between bacon or no bacon, I personally am taking the bacon all day long. So I'm going to continue rolling up some meatballs. Like I said, this makes about 16. And like I said, also, people have swapped out the filling for these meatballs because the base itself is just a really simple meatball. It's really flavorful. I mean, it's eggs, a salt and pepper seasoning, ground beef, breadcrumbs. There's not a lot to it. So when it comes to flavors, you can get as exciting and crazy as you want. You could do like ground up mushrooms. You could do, ooh, what else would be good in meatballs, Todd? I've seen people do blueberry, like blueberry in their meatballs, and then maple syrup, and they do it with pork instead of beef, and kind of for like a breakfast sausage situation. So I think the sky is the limit, and you really can have as much fun as you want to have with a loaded meatball moment. And I kind of like to stretch my my bacon just a little bit to make sure there's some overlap. And I do secure each one with a toothpick. And when I do that, I really try hard to ensure that these toothpicks are sticking out about an inch, because the last thing that you want to do is forget a toothpick if you're taking them out. And if you're not taking them out, you want the toothpick long enough to be a little bit of a handle so your guests can grab them, kind of appetizer. But these ones are a little bit big, like entree size. These are meaty, meaty meatballs, and I like them that way. So once you get all your meatballs rolled up, and I guess if you skip the bacon, it might save you a little bit of time if you're pressed for time on prep. But again, I just can't imagine a world where somebody would willingly skip bacon on a meatball. Okay, while you guys are hanging out in the chat, say hi. Tell me where you're coming in from. I would love to just get to know all of you a little bit better. And I'm so glad that you're hanging out with us on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday evening. One of the first days of fall. I live in southern Utah. It is an absolutely perfect evening tonight. I think fall is my favorite time to cook outside on the grill. Okay, oh, I do see questions coming in. All right, my first question is thick or thin bacon, and does it matter? Yes, and thank you so much for asking. That was something I was going to cover and it slipped my mind, so I'm glad you brought it up. I like to buy the center cut bacon because it doesn't have a lot of that excess fat on the end that usually just ends up burning off or is hard to pin down anyway. And for stuff like this, I stick with regular bacon, not thick cut, not the thin cut, because we're cooking these at 275 degrees. That's really going to give the bacon an opportunity to render out nicely. It's not going to be crispy bacon. It's going to be really well rendered bite through bacon. And that's what I'm looking for. If you went with a thin bacon, sometimes what happens is the bacon contracts during the cooking process. It actually splits. I feel like a slightly thicker bacon works well for that, but you don't need fully like thick sliced bacon. Otherwise it won't be bite through. So I think the perfect size for these guys is just regular old sliced bacon. Oh, somebody suggested some fillings, hash browns and chopped onions in a meatball. That sounds absolutely delicious. If you guys have unique filling or flavor combinations, send them over. How good would it be if you went like double meat in the meatballs and you added in like chopped up leftover smoked brisket? Because that sounds really good to me. Really, really good. All right. Like I said, we kind of are doing some magic of television tonight. And I have some meatballs that I prepped because as much as you guys like watching me roll up meatballs, probably not for 10 whole more minutes. So we're going to grab our Thermapen ONE. And this is kind of the reason that we're all here tonight, is this beautiful Thermapen ONE. I have a blue one at my house. I love Tim's black one that he showed before the live started. I'm going to have to get another one. I think if I am an affiliate for ThermaWorks, most of the money is just like, I just put it back into more thermometers because I love them. So this guy is fantastic. We've been using the Thermapen ONE for a while now, and I have to be honest, it's become my go-to thermometer. I have two other Thermapen MK4s. I've had them for years. They've held up amazing, but the quick read on the Thermapen ONE is super convenient, especially when we're doing something like meatballs and I have to bounce around from place to place really quickly over a hot grill. I can get a quick read. I can move on to the next one. And this kind of gives me the opportunity additionally to see where the hot spots are on my grill, to see what parts might be cooking a little bit faster than others. So come on around. You guys can get a look at what we're got going in the smoker tonight. These are the meatballs in process. They've been on for, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Huzzah. They've been on for about 45 minutes. We're looking for 155 or a couple degrees over, kind of because I got a little bit yappy. But you can see some of them are a couple degrees higher. But being able to just bounce back and forth between each of these and get a quick instant read is super great. Some of these are about done, which is fine. They're beautiful. And these have been smoking at 275 degrees. We have, Todd, what pellets did you put in here? Oh, we have a competition blend pellet in there right now, which is some oak and some cherry and I believe maple. Or is it hickory? I need to go look and see what's in there. I guess the point is that these meatballs will probably be awesome with any type of wood that you're using because they are such a classic, like beefy jalapeno cheesy flavor. I don't think you can go wrong unless you go with something like mesquite that's a really strong smoky flavor and you don't like that. But if you like a really strong smoky flavor, mesquite will probably be your best friend. All right, meatballs are at 155. Our target finish temperature is 165 degrees. But before we hit that, I want to give these a little bit of sauce. And sauce is optional, but recommended because I like saucy meatballs. I mean, we're going with the bacon, we're going with the cheese, we're going with the jalapenos. We might as well, you know, go with a little barbecue sauce on there too. This is my apple jalapeno barbecue sauce. You can buy this from my website in our online store, but also I have the recipe online. So if you want to just make it at home and have an awesome apple jalapeno barbecue sauce in your own fridge that you can whip up anytime you want, the recipe's on my website or it's on the Hey Grill Hey app. This is a tomato-based barbecue sauce. It has pieces of jalapenos and they're similar to what we put in the meatball itself. You're going to see little pieces of chopped jalapeno in the actual sauce. It also has some reduced apple juice in there. So you get a really awesome kind of dance between the sweet of the apple, the not super spicy, but great pepper flavor of the jalapeno. And I love this sauce. I think, Todd, is this your favorite sauce, cameraman Todd? Todd says this is his favorite sauce. If you guys have tried any of my sauces, let me know in the comment section because that would be awesome. I love sharing my barbecue sauces with people who love to eat barbecue. Should we sauce some meatballs? All right, come on over. And not to be too much of a fangirl, I even have my ThermaWorks basting brush. This is my favorite basting brush because it's long and it's wide and I can get sauce everywhere that I want it. So you can go about this a couple different ways. You can pour your sauce into a bowl and kind of dip. I'm just gonna drizzle over the top, let it run down the sides, and then use my basting brush to kind of make sure we have even coverage all the way around. You can see some of those pieces of jalapeno in there. Also, I mean, as delicious as the sauce is gonna taste, how beautiful does that look with the bright red of the barbecue sauce? Yummy, yummy, yummy. Now our sauces are kind of a little bit different and in my opinion, a little bit awesome, more than like a regular commercial barbecue sauce out there because we don't use any high fructose corn syrup. So there's no kind of like that commercial sweetness that you get from like store-bought barbecue sauces. But also the reason I had to develop barbecue sauces in the first place was because of Todd. Todd hates liquid smoke and he doesn't like any barbecue sauce that has liquid smoke on it. In fact, when he was a kid, he thought he hated barbecue because barbecue to him was really, really smoky, sweet barbecue sauce. So I was put on a mission by my sweet husband to develop a barbecue sauce that tasted amazing, that wasn't overly sugared, and that didn't have any liquid smoke in it. And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense because we spend all of this time, especially in smoking meats, adding natural, clean, beautiful smoke to the meat that we're making. We work really hard to maintain consistent temperatures. We work really, really hard to choose the right wood, to make sure we have a clean burning fire, and all of these things to make our barbecue taste smoky and delicious and amazing. And then what do we do at the end of it? We top it with fake smoke flavor. And it just didn't make sense to me to cover up the natural smoke flavor that we were imparting into our food with artificial smoke flavor on top of it. So that's one of the biggest things I think that sets our sauces apart from anybody else on the market. And the sauces that you'll find on my website for you to make at home, I think I have over 20 barbecue sauce recipes just on my website. None of them are going to contain liquid smoke because they're meant to go with smoked and grilled foods. They're not meant to make any old food taste like barbecue. They're meant to make barbecue taste better. We want to highlight all of that smoke flavor. And these guys have been smoking, for the last 45 minutes. We've got some really great smoke flavor in here, and it would be a shame to cover up that natural smoke flavor we built with artificial smoke flavor from a bottle. Beautiful. Now these are just going to smoke for an additional, I'd say 10 to 15 minutes until we hit the target temperature if we were doing it at home. But because we're live and because I cooked these a little bit closer to their done point, you could see when we read the thermometer initially, some of them were at that 165 point already. It's probably not going to take us 10 more minutes. If you're somebody that likes a crispier bacon, you can bump up the temperature during these last 5 to 10 minutes and really give yourself an opportunity to get a little extra heat on there, caramelize the sauce on the outside, and crisp up that rendered bacon a little bit more. Like I said, I like the rendered bite-through version of bacon that we're going to be getting with this sauce. Okay. Oh, we got people that wanted to see the sauces. So this is the apple jalapeno barbecue sauce. Beautiful. And then this is the beef seasoning. And in our store and online, we did something a little bit different that you don't see a lot of the time is we actually give you the recipes. So we don't expect you to buy all of our products. If it's convenient for you, you like supporting the brand and you like having our products in your house, that's an option for you. You can buy them, you can have them shipped to your home. We're also in a bunch of retailers nationwide. We're in a few Ace Hardware stores. We're in Sportsman's Warehouse. Locally in Utah, we're in Cal Ranch, which is in several states. And we're in Harmon's grocery stores. We're in Barbecue Pit Stops. And a lot of smaller barbecue pro shops and barbecue retailers are carrying our stuff. And so you might even be able to find it in person close to where you are. But I love when people experiment with flavors. I love when people try things on their own. And that's why I'll always give you the recipe, because I want you to be able to make it at home and say, ooh, that's good, but I think it could use more black pepper, because that's what your palate likes. It's really a unique thing to be able to cook at home for yourself and for the people that you care about the most, and deliver flavors that are unique and exceptional and awesome and perfectly suited for what you like to eat. So I have a couple minutes for questions while we're waiting for our beautiful meatballs to finish coming up to temperature. We'll give them a final read with the Thermapen here in just a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, I've got my chat open. You guys can post questions and comments, and I'll get back to you. Oh, we have one. Says, I made your apple jalapeno sauce Tuesday and using it tomorrow and comparing it to the bottle brand. Hopefully it's really similar. There are some discrepancies always between bottles and homemade, and most of that comes from what brand of ketchup are you using? What brand of brown sugar are you using? So it should be really, really, really close, because it's literally the exact same recipe from the website that we use to bottle. Our sauces are bottled right here in Utah by a veteran-owned bottling company, which is really exciting to us. His name's Big Lee Hill, and he makes his own delicious sauces as well. But we're super proud of our product in the bottle, and it really, really matches the product that I was able to make at home and send samples and make sure that it was exactly what we wanted it to be. So I hope you love both of them. Oh, somebody says they put grated carrot in meatballs and meatloaf. They said it sounds strange, but it works. I don't think it sounds strange at all. Carrots are going to provide a little hint of sweetness, but there's also a lot of water in carrots, and they have a great texture. So you're going to impart a lot of moisture to your meatballs and to your meatloaf while it's cooking, and just a little kiss of sweetness too. I actually think that sounds delicious. What can we put in with grated carrots? A grated carrot combo. I don't know, but sounds awesome. Now I want to try it. Okay, I've got my pretty meatball serving platter here. I also have a fork and a knife, because if you've ever watched our videos on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page, you know we can't make a recipe without tasting it at the end. And I think that is one of the most joyous parts of my entire job, is getting to taste the things at the end of the cooking process. It's so rewarding, it's so fulfilling, and it's so exciting to see how the cook went, to take notes, to see what we can do next time. Hopefully these guys turn out awesome. I'm going to grab one final temperature reading. We should be close. And then we can take these off the grill. Those look beautiful. Super pleased. We held it open. Now we dropped the temperature down. Good thing we already got them up to 165 on top. That's why I cooked them first. I knew it'd be open forever. All right, I'm good with these, because I know we got them all cooked through. Also, when you're cooking at home for yourself, you can lick your finger when it gets a little bit of barbecue sauce on it. So don't do that when you're cooking for other people, okay? Gorgeous. Now you can stack these up high. And like I said, if you're serving these as an entree, I think 4 per person is pretty great. We like to serve these with like some skillet roasted potatoes and maybe some grilled green beans or some Brussels sprouts, and make a really awesome meal, because yes, they're meatballs, but with what we put in there, they're also kind of like really yummy mini meatloaves. And so anything that you would pair with a meatloaf, you could probably pair with these meatballs, and it would make a really awesome complete meal. If you're going to be serving these as a side dish or an appetizer, you can just leave those toothpicks in there. But if you're going to be doing this, you know, just for yourself, or you're taking them to a party, please take the toothpicks out. Nothing's worse than biting into a toothpick. But again, that's why we left them sticking out far enough. People should be able to see that there's toothpicks in there, right? Okay, Somebody asked a question. If you were going to make a sandwich, what would you do? Okay. I would probably, at this size, I would buy the Hawaiian rolls, like King's Hawaiian rolls, cut them down the middle, stack each one onto a little Hawaiian bun, and put them in a little bit of foil, put them on the cooker, heat the bread through. These would already be cooked. And then you have awesome little barbecue meatball sliders, and I think they would be absolutely delicious. Maybe even serve them with some fresh sliced jalapenos on top, or even some candied jalapenos would be super, super delicious, and make a nice little cheesy jalapeno-y meatball sandwich. That sounds delicious. Final temperature on these, our target temperature is 165. So for the first step, 45 minutes, it took us to get to 155 degrees. Sauce them, close the lid. You can crank the temperature if you really want to caramelize the outside of your meatballs for an additional 5 to 10 minutes until you hit 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, because I was, making meatballs and not paying perfect attention, I actually took these up to 165 before I sauced them. So I took my time with the lid open. I sauced them nice and slow, and then I just closed the lid for a few minutes at the lower temperature and let the sauce set on the outside, but they were cooked to 165 before we pulled them off the smoker. That's our target internal temperature for beef. So let's cut one of these cute guys in half. Ooh, I got another quick question. What if you made the meatballs around a mozzarella core and made a sub? That would be delicious. I would probably use a marinara sauce in that case instead of a barbecue sauce. Mozzarella on the inside, maybe basil instead of the jalapenos. So you can use that beef as a base. You can use, the eggs and the panko, and then go crazy with like mozzarella and basil instead of jalapeno and cheddar. Yeah, and then you got to make sure you seal the mozzarella in really, really tight so the mozzarella doesn't goo out. And then put it on like a toasted hoagie roll, or even like some garlic bread mini meatball mozzarella sub sounds delicious to me. All right, let's take a look at the inside of these beauties. You can see those jalapenos. That's what you want to see. You want the actual visual of what you're going to be getting. You can see the gooey cheese on the inside. We're even getting some smoke ring around the outside of these meatballs. So they've got really, really good flavor. Now I'm going to take a bite, but before I do, I got one more question that came in. Somebody asked, where can I get your spices? If you want recipes to make at home, heygrillhey.com. We have a search bar, or you can download the Hey Grill Hey app. We have over 450 recipes on the app. It's available both in the Google Play Store, also in the Apple App Store. And there are recipes that you can make stuff at home. If you want to buy stuff in the bottle, like our beef seasoning, also at heygrillhey.com, you just head to the menu, click the store button. It'll take you to all of our rubs, all of our sauces, and we have a couple other fun barbecue and grilling products in there as well. I think I get to eat it now, right? I tasted these jalapenos before. They are not spicy at all. They're very mild. So hopefully I don't have to worry about that. They're perfect. Okay. First thing, that bacon on the outside. This isn't a crispy bacon. If you're a crispy bacon person, like I said, you can try to increase the final temperature at the end, but this is a bite through bacon. It's very tender. It almost melts away into the meatball itself. So it adds all of that salty, fatty flavor to the outside. It keeps all of the moisture in the meatball, but you're not left chewing it. You're not left chewing bacon because all of that fat has rendered and it's perfectly cooked. On the inside, these little jalapenos are exactly the right texture for me. They're not going to squish and disappear. They have a little bit of integrity to them, but they're cooked through. I would call it a tender crisp, almost the way that you would want to cook an asparagus. It's heated through, it's softer, but it's not mushy at all. That's a jalapeno. You get the cheese, and then the meat itself is just moist. It's well seasoned. This is a juicy meatball, perfect base level of flavor for all of the awesome stuff that we added into it. And I am most certainly getting the smoke. That even just 45 minutes in a smoker, ground meat takes on smoke, I think, more than anything else. And you'll see a pink ring in less than an hour, which is really amazing. Oh, We're receiving requests for Taste Test Todd to have a bite. Okay, Todd doesn't have a microphone, which might be good because then you don't have to hear him chew. Okay, you ready? Taste Test Todd comes in at the end of all of our videos because honestly, you can trust my word for it, but you know I'm going to say it's good. Todd doesn't really have a dog in the fight, and he's always been the most honest reviewer of my food. So if Todd says it's good, I know that it's good. He loves flavors that are classic. He loves things that are easy and accessible and family friendly because that's kind of what he grew up eating. So if Todd says it's a go,
is it go?
Todd says it's a go. That's usually when I'm actually able to post the recipe to the website because I know if Todd likes it, there's a really, really good chance you guys are going to love it too.
I got the cheese.
Todd got the cheese, he says. All right. I think we have covered making the meatballs. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I love that Taste Test Todd got so many exclamation points. Todd's the man. I think if he took over, we'd be a lot more popular. But I'm grateful to be able to develop recipes. It's really what I'm most passionate about is developing recipes and flavors that you can cook for your family at home. Our motto is actually our entire goal and our entire purpose with the website and the products and the app and everything that we've done is to help you make better barbecue so you can feed the people that you love and become a backyard barbecue hero. And that moment of your loved one taking a bite and saying, ooh, like Todd just did, that's what it's all about for me. And that's what I want you to be able to experience at home. So hopefully, if you're not familiar with Hey Grill Hey yet, this was a great opportunity for you to get to know me a little bit, get to know our brand, get to know our family. Thanks so much to ThermoWorks for giving us the opportunity to hang out with you guys tonight and cook and demonstrate a little bit about what the Thermapen ONE can do, reading temperatures so quickly, especially across a hot grill with multiple pieces of meat that we needed to test at the same time. Obviously, it worked flawlessly, and we're really grateful to be an affiliate for ThermoWorks. If you want to pick up a Thermapen ONE, I believe they have a link for you guys in the video description that you can click that will send you over to ThermoWorks. You can grab one to use in your backyard. I really have been barbecuing with a Thermapen product consistently for the last 5 years. In fact, this guy just went with me to the American Royal barbecue competition last weekend. It's called the World Series of Barbecue. And I got to be honest with you, I think 75 to 90% of the teams were using Thermapen products. So the big guys hauling the big rigs, cooking in the big competitions, they know what's up. And, it was great to see ThermoWorks represented across that community and feel like I was a part of it too, because I've been cooking with ThermoWorks products for so long. I think that about covers it from Meatballs. I hope we were able to answer all of your guys' questions. If you ever have, a need for a recipe or something that you would love to cook, head to heygrillhey.com or download the app. Use the search bar. 450 recipes that I've developed in my backyard for my family that they've loved. I'm certain that we can find something that you'll love to cook for your family. And at the end of the day, barbecue is fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful or stodgy or critical. Barbecue is the food that brings us all together. And I'm grateful that you guys come hang out in my backyard tonight. I'm grateful that we could spend this time together. And I only wish that I could feed you through the screen. I really, really do. Just like I fed Todd. Maybe one day we'll be able to have a barbecue together. But until then, I'm glad we could do this virtually. And I will send it back to ThermoWorks. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Susie and Todd, for doing that for us. It was such a thrill. Thanks for using the Thermapen ONE and making those delicious meatballs. I can't wait to try them at home. And thanks to all of you for all of your questions, for your engagement, for being a part of this amazing ride. Tune in next week. It'll be our last week. We've got Matt Pittman of Meat Church Barbecue. He's going to be making beef ribs. You're going to want to be there. Come join us again next Thursday. Take care, everyone. That was awesome.